Remember to click like, subscribe, the bell notification, and whatever else YouTube has you clicking on to support us. What's up, everyone? I am Marcus, here with another Let's Talk. Today I'm talking about toxicity in social media. What is toxicity? Well, toxicity is essentially just being rude to each other and, well, creating a horrible environment, a toxic environment. That kind of stuff. And it's gotten worse in social media over the last several years. And it's sometimes you can write it off, other times you might not be able to. Social media is an interesting beast. 20 years ago, when Kurelika and I moved from New York to Colorado, we pretty much had no idea what we were doing, no one to talk to. We just moved, and everyone we knew from Buffalo, friends and family, they were just mostly gone. Just never talked to them again unless you had the phone numbers. There were a few people that I tried to keep in touch with, but after a while it kind of just never happened. Social media has made it easier, and there were a few I reconnected with, good or bad. And when we moved from Colorado earlier this year to Florida, we're still regularly talking to the people, our friends in Colorado, because of social media. Social media has a lot of great things to it. You can get your news instantaneously through social media. Years ago, it used to be you had to wait for a newspaper to tell you movie times, or call up the theater and listen to this long list of movie times to find out what time you want to go to the movies. Now you can just go online and get it instantaneously. You can buy your tickets online instead of having to go to the theater and buy them in person. When it came to news, you can get worldwide news on the fly, just like that. Oh, I want to find out what's happening in Japan. There's a website you can go to. I want to find out what's happening in London. There's a website you can go to. I want to find out what's happening in California. You can go right there and check it for yourself. You get the news on the fly, whereas before you needed to get a newspaper or hear a word of mouth. Same with if a studio wants to make an announcement for a new Blu-ray coming out or a new movie coming out. It used to be a lot of times you'd hear it through magazines that cover it, video games, all video game magazines. When you got that E3 issue that came out the store that would give you all the lowdown and everything revealed at E3, that was like gold. Now, video game companies do their own streaming online to make all their announcements right then and there instead of waiting months on end to one event in the summer to reveal the whole thing. It is glorious. However, at the same time, it has made it easy for people to be mean and rude to each other. People having an opinion will post an opinion and other people will think it's a personal attack on them and insult that person and have their friends come and insult that person and call it ratio or some crap like that. And it's not cool. But, well, I'm guilty of it. We're all guilty of it. Sometimes you don't go with the intention to get into this heated debate online that leads into name calling and insults and all this stuff. It just happens. You're just la da 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 da. I'm posting this. Oh, I don't agree with that person. Let's create a conversation on this. I don't agree with you. And then you get the people who are like, how dare you ruin that person's fun? If you don't like what they like, you don't need to post about it. I'm just creating a conversation, dude. I just want to get insight. Why does this person like that show? I want to make a conversation. I want to explain why I don't like that show, why I like another show, why they might not like the show I like. That's how conversation works. I don't understand why everybody online thinks that making an opinion is a declaration of war, basically. That's what it is. Welcome to the internet, where your opinion is a declaration of war. Chill out, people. Not everyone is attacking your opinion. They just want to know why you're doing something. why you don't like their show, or why you like a show they don't like, vice versa. They're conversing. They want to engage in discussion. That's what Twitter is, a discussion board, essentially. It seems like, though, people just want to make a post and have nobody respond to them, which, if that's your thing, cool, then make your tweets private or make them where nobody can comment on them. Stuff like that. If you post in an open public forum, you're going to get people to respond, good or bad. And a lot of people seem to think that even a good post is a bad post. And why is toxicity so rampant in social media? Is it because you can be a dick and there are no consequences? Because that's one of the biggest things. There are no consequences for social media. You can tell people the horrible, horrible things, insult them, basically virtually stalk them, and there are no consequences for it. But some people, if they try to respond, will get their post blocked or their account suspended because that conduct was against terms of service. Never mind the person that has been egging them on. But yeah, there are no consequences, or at least mostly no consequences. Some consequences are to the extreme, as we recently had a few days ago with a certain person, political figure, that made a lot of not so very nice tweets. I argued with him all the time. I guess I wouldn't say argue. He didn't really argue. He would post crap on Twitter and then you would reply to him and he would never respond anyway. And I mean, he was an asshole, but did he deserve to die over it? No, that's way too extreme. So, but why? Why does everyone basically feel like every post they make is being attacked? What is it about social media that makes you feel like you're always under scrutiny of someone? Just from someone disagreeing with you. You can't have a decent conversation most of the time anymore. You want to have a conversation, but then you post a disagreeing argument and the person attacks you for it, and then you start trying to defend yourself, and then you're attacking them, and then this whole thing occurs, and finally you're like, well, what was the point of that? I just wasted an hour of my time and didn't actually get to do what I came on here to do. Which is also kind of annoying. Now, don't get me wrong. As I said, I am guilty of toxicity as well on social media, and I'm trying to get better at that. I'm trying not to just respond meanly to people, especially after recent events, because I've come to the decision there's just way too much hate going on and we need to get better at it. But I'll always, you see somebody post, there's a YouTuber, Prod Z. People misquoted him and then started attacking him, and then when he quit social media, they got even madder at him for quitting social media. Like, what? Why? You won. He left social media. Congratulations. There's no need to continue the attack. What does attacking accomplish? And then there are people who have apologized because they made a comment and it was either a false claim, an incorrect statement, whatever, and they apologize. And apparently in social media there is no apology, making the whole thing pointless. What's the point of even having the term apology if people in social media will not accept it? I'm not saying you have to accept it, but if someone apologizes, it means they thought about what they said and were like, oh, I guess you're technically right, or I was misinformed. When did we just start becoming total dicks of everything? Is it because we don't have consequences? Is it because people think freedom of speech means freedom to be an asshole? I don't understand. I don't get it. Social media should be something we can enjoy, something to broaden our horizons, to learn about new things going on in the world, to have good conversations with people we would not meet around us. Toku fans. Yes, there are a lot of you, but you're spread out so far. It's a rarity if you're going to meet a Toku fan just in Target. You might occasionally come across a Toku fan at Target, but you're most likely not going to do that. Same with anime. Anime is bigger than Toku, but how often do you go into a store like Target, Walmart, and happen to run into an anime fan all the time? How often does that happen? It happens once in a while, but I doubt it happens every time you go there. You don't meet someone new who's an anime fan. Social media allows you to interact with fans of the things you like that you can converse with. Not everyone is there to be an asshole. So what is it about social media that sets people off, that just makes everyone be the dick they can be? Is it that aspect of because there are no consequences, because they can't see your face? That's the other thing. People can't see your face when you're commenting like a dick. So you can say whatever you want and they will have no idea who they are. It could be your neighbor for all you knew, but you wouldn't know because they're not going to tell you. And that's another hard part, is who is behind the computer? Is it someone legitimately being a dick? Is it a kid? Is it an adult? How are you going to know? I love the other aspect. There was somebody I was arguing with, and I made a comment in the moment, and they're like, you just told a child blah, blah, blah. How am I going to know they're a child? I can't see them. I don't know who they are. Well, in their profile, it says, am I supposed to read the profile of every single person I get into an argument with? Because I can tell you, my time is worth more than that. I may be arguing, but my time is not. I'm not going to go and research every single person I'm arguing with online. Just no, not worth it to me. If there's something you say that I'm like, hey, this person's kind of cool, let me go check out their profile, then I'll go do that. But I'm not going to go and check the profile out of every single person that starts an argument or is insulting. And grudges online is another thing. Like, you'll just be in a conversation and somebody will post, oh, no one asked for your opinion, jackass. Like, excuse me? Why are you just attacking me? Get the hell out of here. We don't want you here. Who are you? I argued with you 3 years ago on that one post, blah, blah, blah. I have never forgiven you. You insulted my favorite series. I'm sorry, I don't remember you. You know how many people I've argued with online? I don't know who you are. You can tell, it's like the concept of, you killed my father. You're going to have to narrow it down more, because you have any idea how many fathers I've killed? Yeah. Please elaborate more. But the toxicity aspect, it's so hard. At this point, it's a superpower to be kind. Kind doesn't cost anything. We need to stop the hate all around. It's getting out of hand. Social media is becoming a mental health disorder. And I really do feel like that people have gotten so addicted to social media, it is affecting their mental health. They're taking every single post they read and letting it affect them personally, which then goes into their fingertips. I know, I've done it. I will have read a post that pisses me off so much, and then I see someone else's post, and I will, because in my brain, I'm angry, so suddenly I just want to get that anger out. So I totally get it. Social media is a trap in a way. It can be great. It's amazing when used properly. Again, you can have great conversations with people you would never talk to in the real world because they're on opposite ends of the country. You would probably never meet them, maybe at a convention, if you go to a convention in the area they are close to and they're going to it. Do I expect that I'm going to meet the people from California at a convention here in Florida? Maybe one or two if they live in the middle part of the country or on the East Coast. But I doubt anyone really from the East Coast went over to California for Power Morphicon. And I doubt that I'm going to meet a lot of people from Power Morphicon at Ranger Stop. I might meet a couple who live close by in the vicinity. But one thing I noticed when living in Colorado is we would go to conventions in California or Minnesota, Texas, and yeah, you would have people from the general area, but even people in California were like, you came over here from Colorado? Wow, that is so far. It's like, well, how else am I going to enjoy this convention? It's not just going to magically appear in Colorado. And that's one thing that what I'm excited about over here though, is now I get to go to conventions on the East Coast, maybe build things up more on the East Coast. But I digest. There's so many amazing people out in that world that you wouldn't talk to if it wasn't for social media. But you also have the other side. And it sucks that people, like I said, will hold grudges. You'll be having a really great conversation with someone you are in an argument with 2 years ago will come in, ruin the conversation, and steer your conversation the wrong direction. The guy you were having a great conversation with suddenly wants nothing to do with anybody in this conversation because nobody can just be nice to each other. Everyone just has to be mean. And once again, why? If you have found yourself in a heated debate online, is there something that triggered you to be that way? I'd love to know, because it is bad. As I said, sometimes something pisses me off and I end up just taking the rage out on whoever comments or something, and I don't even mean to at times. It just comes out. So it's something we all need to work on. We've had so much violence in the last few years that it's getting out of hand. We should be enjoying social media, not making it our I lost my thought of what I was trying to say there. But we need to stop being dicks to each other. We need to make common sense and being kind back to being more than just a rare superpower. We need to be pleasant to each other, engage in conversation. Hey, if you don't want to have another person post on your page, comment on your post, that's a disagreeing opinion, maybe put, hey, if you disagree with me, please don't respond. Or lock the tweet so that they can't respond. Something to signify you don't want a discussion, you just want to put your opinion out there and that's it. And having a different side, just because somebody is disagreeing with you does not mean they are attacking you. If someone makes a comment, oh, well, you like such and such. Oh, well, I like this. That's not attacking your opinion. They're just putting out there what they like, what makes them happy. Life is a pain in the ass. It is hard. Adults are basically children pretending they actually know things. Social media does not make it is not something that should be stressing you out. And the other horrifying aspect with the bullying is that there are people who can't handle bullying. There was recently a Fox rescue YouTuber who killed herself because she couldn't take the bullying anymore. And people are like, well, if she didn't want to be bullied, she shouldn't have gone on social media. Is that really what we should be saying? If you don't want to be bullied, don't go on social media? Is that really the take we want to make of this? Not, hey, maybe we should tone down the toxicity. Maybe we shouldn't be complete assholes online. Hey, maybe bullying is wrong. No, just if you don't want it, don't go on social media. What if... It seems easy to avoid social media. Saying it is easier than doing it. How many of you right now that go on social media daily, that are on their phones playing around as they're listening to this video, would be able to turn off social media for even a day? I bet only a selected amount would. So saying turn off social media, what about if social media is how you get your business out there? I know somebody said, well, you don't need social media to advertise your business. Businesses were doing it long before social media. Yes, that might be true, but the world is a different place now. Those outlets that allowed you to advertise, a lot of them don't exist anymore. Plus, people don't pay attention to things like that anymore. People aren't going to pay attention to a newspaper advertising your business. And advertising your business like that costs money. If you're a small business making $150, maybe $200 a month on ad revenue, you don't have the money to go and spend on advertising. Twitter, Bluesky, Facebook, Instagram, those are your advertisements because they're free for you to use. You don't have to pay for them. Not everyone can afford to leave social media if they run a business. Saying we'll just leave social media is a lot harder than it sounds. Yes, some people can. Some people can just like that. But what if you only talk to your friends and family through social media? What if social media is how you get your news? And now granted, news has been not very great lately, but still, a lot of people get their news from social media. Are they supposed to avoid it? If somebody doesn't go online to social media, they're not going to know things that are coming out. If there are Blu-rays that come out that have defects, you don't know that there's an exchange program for this defect if you don't go on social media and people tell you about it. Very rarely are you going to find things out without social media in your life. You can live without social media. There are people that do it. But then there are people that don't get advertisements. There's people who go to there are voice actors who go to conventions, but because they don't use social media, nobody ever knows that they're actually at a convention because they're an unannounced guest. So if they're an unannounced guest and they're there, basically it's just word of mouth telling them that person is there. And so if they're there trying to make some money, they're going to make a fraction of what they would make if they were an announced guest. And conventions, not all conventions will even announce post, hey, this person we never made an announcement for is at our convention. You can go to blah, blah, blah to meet that person if you want. They're not going to do that. We met the voice actors for Jean Grey, Jill Valentine at Fan Expo Denver earlier this year. She doesn't use social media. We just happened to walk by and there she was. And I was like, well, I'll post online that you're here. I don't know if it really did anything, but that was her way of getting it out there that she was at that convention. So social media, mentally it's great for her because she misses out on the toxicity, but then there are other aspects that she does lose out on, such as business. So social media has its good points, it has its bad points. You can't just quit social media in this day and age, especially if you run a business or you're trying to get money or whatever. There's just no way to do it like it was done 20 years ago, 30, 40 years ago. And then there are the people that will somebody will post an announcement and you will have I must let the entire world know I absolutely hate this item. And I'm going to make it known that it is garbage. I I've done it before myself. Guilty as charged. I've done it before. Where we're like, that's what you're bringing out? That's garbage. Why are you wasting your time? But then there is somebody out there who's like, oh my God, I've been waiting forever. Like, I'm waiting for Warner Brothers to bring Tales from the Crypt to Blu-ray. I have been waiting forever. I need Tales from the Crypt on Blu-ray. The DVDs are crap. They look like crap. There's no chapter stops on some of the seasons. One season's missing the opening theme and all that stuff. But I know the moment Tales from the Crypt, if it were to get announced on Blu-ray, there would be someone like, Tales from the Crypt is the worst show ever made. I can't believe you're bringing it out on Blu-ray. You could be bringing something else on Blu-ray. I did that when Friends was announced. I was like, Friends? I hate Friends. Where's Tales from the Crypt? And then there's someone like, oh my God. And it's okay if you're just posting your opinion, but then when people start attacking others for it. But yeah, the whole point of this is everyone's too toxic and it needs to stop. We need to start finding the good points of social media and being pleasant towards each other. If you don't like someone's post, scroll past it. Now, if they're intentionally attacking someone and you're like, that's not cool or that's false information, by all means participate, but try to be respectful of the other person. It's a double standard. People don't like to pay attention to posts that are respectful. They will respond instantly to the ones that are rude, but then the ones that are rude, they will respond to in the wrong way. It's an odd thing. You post, I like flowers. Ignore. They like flowers. Okay, whatever. You might get that one person like, oh, I hate flowers, or I can't stand flowers. Flowers are smelly and not in the good way. You might get that. But I bet you post, flowers are the most disgusting thing ever invented. Anyone that likes them is a frickin' moron. And suddenly, you will have loads of posts saying, oh, I agree, flowers are awful. Flowers suck. What the hell is wrong with you? Flowers are the greatest thing ever. And of course, you would say flowers are bad. And it will just blow up. But if you say it nicely, perfect example, I was doing a test a long time ago, and I posted, what Sentai show was it? Zenkaiger? Might have been Zenkaiger. I posted, man, I do not like Zenkaiger. It is plotless. Nothing is happening. And I got these posts just attacking my opinion for it, calling me a dog hater, which I know I made a sarcastic post of I kick puppies, and apparently people think I actually kick puppies. I'm like, I'm not even around puppies to kick, and I wouldn't even kick puppies. So, but apparently, I guess that's on another thing I'll get on to in a moment, but or I'll get on to right now so I don't lose my thought of it. But apparently you say one thing, and if people don't like it, they will think that it was real that you said to them. And then they will tell other people what you said, and they'll think it was real without ever actually verifying that it was real or not. But I did this test on Zenkaiger, and people blew it up. People are like, we're going to ratio your ass. And going on and on and on and posting and hating on it and hating on it. Or if I disagreed with them on Sabaru Kimura, disagreeing, hating on it. But the moment I posted, that episode of Zenkaiger was really good. I think I got one response like, hey, you liked an episode of Zenkaiger. And that was it. Nobody else responded to it. Nobody who was attacking me for saying I hated an episode came back to say, oh, I'm glad you liked that episode. Now, cricket noises across the board, except for one post. And it was from someone I had never heard of before. That wasn't in the previous topics. That they apparently saw I didn't like Zenkaiger, but then they did see I liked Zenkaiger. But everyone else who was all mad because I said I didn't like Zenkaiger, when I made that post about liking that Zenkaiger episode, nobody cared. Nobody cared one bit. Why? Why do we only focus on the negative posts and not the positive ones? You give a movie a great review, the only people who really respond are the ones who hate that movie. But you give a movie a negative review, oh my God, you think that you just murdered someone's children. Oh my God. It's a weird thing. It is a very weird thing. And there are other things that just get people riled up for no reason. You can disagree with someone and not tell them they need to go whatever. What if there actually were consequences to your social media posts? What if you got physical jail time for your social media posts? Do you think people would stop actually doing what they do, stop the bullying online? Or do you think they would continue and then just deny the accusations if they were to get caught or they were to actually be in trouble? I didn't mean that way, or no, I never said that. Do you think if there were actual consequences to how people act on social media that they would stop being that way? Like if maybe every time you post something mean, just to post something mean, you get a shock through your system from your computer. Do you think that would stop people from doing it, or would they just not care? How do we stop toxicity on social media? And I'm not talking about just, you get into an argument and things get a bit heated. I'm talking about the actual bullying to the point where you are responding to people's posts, every post, just to insult them all the time. It's basically a virtual stalker. What if we had consequences for that? What if virtual stalking became the same thing as real stalking, with the same consequences, the same fines, jail time, police interaction, or police involvement? Do you think that would make things better? Let me know. What do you think could be done to stop toxicity on social media? What are ways you avoid toxicity? That's not just, well, I just don't post on social media. Let me know in the comments. And this is going on longer than I thought it would. I had one little thing I was going to talk about, and now it kind of expanded as my thoughts are just getting deeper and deeper. So, yeah. And I know I rambled on for a little bit, but I really think toxicity has gotten out of hand, and we need to find a way to reel it in. It just, without leaving social media. People just need to stop stop hating each other just for the sake of hating each other. Need to stop taking everyone's opinion as an attack on them and all that stuff. What does it cost to be kind? That's all I've got. Click like, subscribe, the bell notification. I think I already said all this. Click on whatever else YouTube has you clicking on to support me. You can support me on Patreon and Bluesky at tokuaannetwork, Facebook, Instagram, Discord at Kaiju no Kami, my website Creativity by Design, LLC.com. There is a GoFundMe to help for both, two different GoFundMes. One is to keep the channel alive for another 10 years. Could use any funding to help pay for website costs since they've gotten astronomical. And then there's a GoFundMe for health purposes because I had stuff done with my esophagus earlier this year and they haven't been paid. And then my wife's mom had to have surgery for precancerous cells, and that was kind of expensive, so there's a GoFundMe for that. And that's all I've got. So until next time, bye.